remember the first time I visited my family's farm after I'd made it big, after all the years of hearing their laughter, their scoffs, their outright ridicule. I was standing at the edge of what used to be a patch of cracked, barren soil, and I looked out over a transformed landscape that shimmered faintly in the moonlight, glowing softly like a dream made real. I could feel their eyes on me, heavy with skepticism and 1,000 unspoken doubts. And I knew this was the moment they'd finally see. Let me take you back a few years, to a time when everything was different, when I was accused falsely of misconduct at the research institute. A scandal that they called me crazy behind my back, then to my face. My own family, the ones who should have believed in me, told me I was wasting my life, that I was an embarrassment. "You're chasing fairy tales," my father said, shaking his head. "Bioluminescence, that's science fantasy. It'll never work, and you'll only make a fool of yourself." My mother looked away, her eyes filled with pity and disbelief. My siblings snickered when I talked about my experiments, making jokes about glowing plants and magical science. It hurt more than I could say, being mocked, dismissed, seen as a failure before I even really had a chance. But deep inside, I knew I was onto something. I saw the future where city farms didn't need endless energy, didn't need artificial lighting that drained resources. I saw a way to illuminate urban landscapes sustainably, to bring light to places shadowed by poverty, to turn despair into hope. I refused to give up, even as the world around me mocked my dream as impractical, as impossible fantasy. So I left. I poured every ounce of my broken heart into my work, into perfecting those bioluminescent crops that most called science fiction. I knew the skeptics would never believe until I proved them wrong. I faced setbacks, failed experiments, funding cuts, loneliness. But every failure was a lesson, every setback a step closer to the breakthrough I envisioned. I worked tirelessly in my tiny lab, fueled by a stubborn refusal to let my reputation define my destiny. Years passed. I built a new name, an empire of sustainability, innovation, hope. My bioluminescent crops were no longer a quirky idea. They became a revolution. Urban farmers adopted my technology, cityscapes lit up with glowing greenery, energy costs plummeted, and communities thrived in ways they never thought possible. My work wasn't just a success. It was a testament to resilience, to the power of unwavering belief in a dream others labeled ridiculous. And then I returned. I returned not just as a successful innovator, but as a man who had transformed the impossible into the inevitable. I drove into my hometown, one of those small towns where everyone still knew my name, where the laughter and dismissiveness echoed in my mind. But I wasn't there to relive old wounds. I was there to show them what they dismissed. I led my family to the farm, now a lush landscape teeming with life. The soil was rich, dark, vibrant with the energy of my plants. The fields shimmered with bioluminescent crops, glowing softly like fireflies in a summer night. I watched their faces as they took it in. Their eyes widened, their jaws slackened. "Look at this," I said quietly, voice thick with emotion. "This is what I've built from your doubts, from your ridicule. This is my legacy, not what you said I'd fail at, but what I knew I could do. I turned a barren wasteland into a living, breathing ecosystem. I proved that what you called fantasy was my truth." The silence that followed was deafening. My father, who once told me my dreams were foolish, looked overwhelmed, his eyes searching mine. My mother's hands trembled, not with shame, but with awe. My siblings looked stunned, unable to find words. In that moment, I saw not just their faces, but a mirror of my own perseverance, my own silent battles. I stepped closer to them, feeling the weight of years of pain and doubt lift. "You used to tell me I'd never succeed," I said softly, "that I was an embarrassment. But all I ever wanted was to keep dreaming, to push past your limits and prove that even the most ridiculous ideas can change the world. I want you to see now what's possible when you believe in someone, even when everyone else laughs. And then, just as I finished, the glow intensified, a gentle, luminous hum that seemed to fill the night air. The crops shimmered in a mesmerizing dance of light, a living testament to persistence and hope. My family stood silently, witnessing firsthand the fruits of my relentless pursuit. It was a long, quiet moment, a recognition of the past, an acknowledgement of the journey, and an understanding that dreams, no matter how absurd they seem, can become reality. I saw tears in my mother's eyes, a trembling smile on my father's face, and a newfound respect in my siblings' expressions. I turned away, letting the glow speak for me, a silent but powerful retelling of my story. I didn't need their approval anymore. I knew what I was, but I also knew this moment would stay with them, a lesson etched into their hearts forever. Because that's what true success is. It's not just about towering achievements or glowing crops. It's about the courage to believe when nobody else does, the resilience to keep going when the world dismisses you, and the grace to return and show everyone who you really are. And as I watched my family finally see the future I fought so hard to create, I realized something profound. The greatest victory isn't just transforming land or changing industries. It's transforming hearts, beginning with your own, and proving that even the most ridiculous dreams can shine brighter than anyone ever expected.